Hey, welcome back to another episode of Hands on Diecast. I'm EC.
And I'm Kevin.
And today we are reviewing Kevin's favorite model of all time.
Yeah, the Autoart BMW 2002 Turbo.
Turbo, no less. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to be straight off the blocks. I'm going to say I know nuts about the 2002. So Kevin's going to share all of his expertise with us.
Well, I'm not going to bore all of you with the details, but just so you know, I have three 2002s. And this is my favorite one, the Autoart 2002 Turbo. And I mean, it's just the detail. Like, this is how Autoart did it back in the old days. And then throughout the video, you'll see the details really will amaze you. For a model that's, I don't know how old this is now, but back then they managed to do such a good job. If only the models today were this good.
And at the same price point.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get straight to the details.
Yep. Okay, starting off with the front of the 2002 Turbo. I immediately know what EC is going to say about it. So let me get that
So
out
beat
of-
me to it,
Yes.
beat me to it.
He's probably going to say the mesh looks great, and then when you look carefully, you can't see anything beyond the mesh, which is true. That's really disappointing, actually. They can't see anything beyond the mesh. But the air ducts below, they're real holes, so I mean, that's kind of cool. What really stands out for me just now when I was looking at the model again is the chrome work. It's like, I got this model like over a decade ago, and none of the chrome is fading. It's all like intact. It's really
Yeah,
good
you're right.
quality.
Yep.
I mean, usually the chrome fades after a while, and the side indicators look good. There's even a small chrome trim around the side indicator, which they got. And then from, I think you can see just barely the fender flares on either side, which really give this car its stance and purpose.
Yep.
Okay, on to you.
Yeah, surprising, right? I thought
Yeah.
you would have thought that it would be proper meshing on this model, but it's not. But I guess that's how it is. I have no idea why the Turbo 2002 decals are actually inverted. Do you have any idea why?
Well, isn't it like on the ambulances where it's reversed so that when the car in front of you looks at it, it's the right way around because the rear view mirror reverses it?
Right, so that when you're driving a 2002 Turbo, the guy in front of you is gonna know that, I better give way to this guy, right? But yeah, I think like what you said, right? Everything's pretty. I mean, the headlamp details, the side indicator lamp details are okay. Not the best we've seen, but the chrome work is really fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably another thing is the entire shark nose profile.
Yeah, they got that right.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. And not to mention the BMW emblem looks, I don't know why, but it really looks very, very nice.
Yeah, it's not just a decal. And even those on some of the models where it kind of is like a piece of metal, this is almost like a full-on piece of metal, and then they stuck the badge on it, which is cool.
Yep. And just on the meshing or the vents again, actually, if you look right at the top of the bonnet, they did get proper meshing or proper vents right to the top.
Yeah.
So at least that's still there.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I think it's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad. Like I said, considering how old this model
Yeah,
actually is.
exactly. All right, moving on.
Right. So side profile of the 2002. It's a boxy little thing, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just look at the whole greenhouse and how it's shaped.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, yeah.
It's actually quite interesting, right? So I guess if you were to look at the model, the first thing, I think what you said just now about the chrome work still holds true. There's a lot of chrome on this model, right? From the the wing mirrors to the door handles to the door frames. It looks all right. I'm more impressed with the fact, like you said, it hasn't faded at all.
Yeah.
The BMW racing colors, that's reflected in the decals all along the sides of the model.
Yep.
Which is great. I think a couple of things which I do like would be the representation of the fenders and the rims. So I guess these were probably like bolt-on fenders and whatnot. So worth pointing out, they didn't have actual rivets on the model itself.
Yeah, which model has real
but I mean,
rivets?
here's the thing: Autoarts of today, like some of those that we reviewed, the Venom and such, they do have it. I mean, but I think it's still possible. I do like the rims. This is the classic '70s kind of look, and they actually got the wheel nuts and the BMW emblem reflected very nicely, despite the minuscule, basically how small it is.
It's tiny.
What do you think?
I don't know, but I don't know how this looks like on TV or on your phone where you're viewing this, but to me, when I'm looking at it, it looks like the real car. Like, I can't say about many models, but what we're looking at looks like the real car. I think that's really cool.
Yes.
I think a lot of it's down to the chrome details, the proportions. I mean, even for these bolt-on fenders, if you look carefully on the edge, it almost looks like they have like the rubber lining, like the real car, which is really detailed.
Yep.
And even the chrome work down here in the window trim, I mean, the details are really spot on. Yeah, there's not much else to say. I really like this model.
Rear bumper too.
Yeah.
Right, look at how it
Yeah, I
protrudes
know.
out.
Yeah.
And you can just get a little glimpse of that, the rear spoiler at the end.
Exactly.
Good.
All right. Moving on to the back. Immediately, I like the taillights. I think they look pretty accurate to the real thing. The chrome trim, as we mentioned earlier, is really well done. Even for the chrome bumper, it has this extra molding just like on the real car. You can just from the bottom see like the muffler, the exhaust box down here, which is cool. The BMW emblem also has that depth to it.
Yeah.
You kind of expect it's not just a decal, it's not flat. The metal emblems are well done as well.
Yep.
I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, the exhaust looks a bit too thick, but I mean, other than that, yeah, what do you think?
I think this is one thing that we are seeing on this older Autoart model that we don't see on models today.
Yeah.
Like you said, the metal emblems.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like the Turbo 2002, that's an actual, like a metal decal.
Yeah, exactly.
Laid on the model, which is great. The emblem as well, I think is nice. Although on your example, it's
not straight.
Yeah, it's not straight. It's a little bit crooked to the
Yeah.
side. Chrome work. I think it's all about the chrome. The rear bumper, I do like the fact that they also molded the, the rear number plate lighting housing, which is great. I'm lukewarm on the tail lamps, honestly. Exhaust pipe, what you said is a bit too thick, and it's a little bit plasticky if you look under the model. But I think that's really nitpicking as what it is.
Yep.
Rear windscreen, you do have the usual heating elements.
Yeah, the heating elements, that's pretty cool.
Really thick rear windscreen surrounds, interestingly.
I don't know whether that's accurate to the real car or not.
But it doesn't look out of place. And the retro style spoiler.
That's cool. That's cool. that head on, yeah.
That probably is one of the distinguishing factors for the Turbo, right?
Yep,
I think.
yep.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Cool.
So, engine bay. We always have fun reviewing the engine bays of like older models.
Yeah. So, I mean, no engine cover to block the way.
Not just, of older models that represent older cars, especially. So, I think in general, I quite like the engine bay as it is. There's a lot of detail, right? You can see the, bits like the main block, the radiator, the batteries, the fact that you can see all the way through the engine bay down to the ground, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's a proper old school construction.
Shot depth. Yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna love all those like little decals, the manufacturer decals around the engine bay.
Yeah.
Cabling, wiring, that's quite
very nice.
Yeah, you tend to miss that from models of today.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the outstanding element of the entire engine bay is going to be the hinge work.
Yeah.
Similar to the M3 Sport Evo that we reviewed a while back, right?
Yeah.
I love how, these old school BMs with the front lifting hood. It looks great.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, agreed. The hinge really stands out. For me, I think the material that they used over here is probably plastic, but the way they've done the finishing, it gives off, it looks like metal.
The sandblasted.
Yeah, the sandblasted, exactly. It looks like the real car. I think that really makes a difference. If it was just like normal plastic, that would look bad. The details, like on the shock towers, this looks like they used gold here. I'm not sure on the real car whether it's like that. The radiator cap. Gold as well. Just the colors. They got the colors for all the fluid containers corrected. Even the numbers on what looks to be the fuse box was there. So, really detailed and lots to explore.
Yep. There's some heating, like heat shield elements on the underside of the hood. I'm not sure if that's how it actually looks like on the real car. We'll get a shot of that.
Yeah.
But also from here, you could see, you can see how the vents of the hood themselves, they actually are see-through.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a good, nice engine bay.
Yep. Right, moving on to the interior. Interior, unfortunately, is a little disappointing. It's quite plasticky. For me, the best part of it would be the instrument or the gauge cluster. There's depth to it, what looks to be like some sort of wood trim around the gauges or whatnot. But otherwise, the carpeting is well done, the flocking. The seats are very plasticky, although they tried to mimic the leather texture. They did get the seat control levers on the side, which is I mean, that takes effort to add that in, so that's pretty cool. And there's like some chrome details on the window winders. Other than that, nothing really pops. I mean, it's quite average. But then again, this wasn't like a signature or anything. This was just a normal Autoart model. What do you think?
Yeah, I pretty much aligned actually.
Okay.
You know, the usual things that Autoart gets right, the carpeting, the seat belts. I think the general look and the scale of all the different bits and bobs. I think all of those is great, right? Scale in terms of the BMW emblem on the steering wheel, the gauge clusters. I agree with you; they are quite nice. You know, and I think if you think about it more from the actual car's perspective, this also kind of set the design language of BMWs of today, right?
Yes.
The minimalist approach.
Yep, very business-like inside.
But yeah, everything else unfortunately is quite plasticky. You know, like the seats, like you said earlier, the plastics on the dashboard, the steering column especially look very plasticky. It looks like I could snap that steering wheel into half with my fingers.
Great, yes.
Which I want is your most beloved model,
So
right?
yeah, it does look like those Tamiya models, you know, the model kits here.
But overall, I mean, it still it does its job
Yeah.
overall. So I
Yeah.
think it's still all right.
Cool.
So, boot compartment to 2002. It kind of reminds me of the E30 Sport Evo that we did a while back, to a degree.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I mean, a similar kind of, you know...
Very basic.
Yeah, very basic boot. But yeah, not much to say here other than the fact that, you know, carpeting's there.
Yeah.
They did get the top struts of the rear dampers reflected right at the back of the boot.
Oh,
We get
yeah.
a separate shot of that. As well as the pipe for the fuel. Which goes down back into the main fuel tank. But other than that, it's a very Spartan boot.
Yeah, agreed. Not much to say. I mean, there is the sort of like the black rubber surround, which they did bother to paint it black. Other than that, yeah, the carpeting is good. I mean, it's different from the one on the interior, so it's. And the other thing is it's not staying up, so that's kind of probably from the age, or maybe it was like that from new. I don't recall.
How's your hand doing?
Let's get this done with.
Let's go.
All right, time for the conclusion. I think EC and I are both struggling to come up with a score. So I had two in my mind, which I'll come to soon enough. It's really tricky because, I mean, as we went on before, there's so many good parts about this car that's even better than other models, like the chrome bits, the engine bay detail, the way the wheels are so, I mean, despite the small details in the wheels, they get it right. All the little things really add up, and I feel like the side shot really, if you looked at it and we took a photo and printed it out, you probably couldn't really tell if that's the 1.1 car or the 1.18 car. And few models have that ability. And that is why I'll be giving it a 9 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah, I was debating 8.5 and 9, but okay, so where this model falls short of, I feel it gained that other 0.5 to make it back to 9 because of all the chrome detailings, all the little fine things. Even the BMW emblem is done better than a lot of modern BMW models nowadays. So, I mean, the only drawback for me was the plasticky interior and the lack of play with the materials. It was just all plastic. But the real car, the interior is actually pretty boring too. So it's kind of hard for them to play with the material textures and stuff. Yeah. How about you?
9, really? You're giving it a 9 out of 10?
I am.
Well,
Yes, I am.
before I get onto the score, I just realized something. Kevin, do you realize that this is the 4th BMW model that we've reviewed on our
I
channel?
was hoping you didn't notice that.
BMW fanboy. Okay, so to this model, I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of the car. It's not something that really excites me, so I'm trying to just gauge this purely as a model.
That's how you should always rate the model.
Yes, correct. And like you said, there's a lot of points around it that's fantastic. I love the hinge work. I love the chrome, the wheels, and the overall shape of the model. Autoart did that very, very well. Where, likewise again, where it does fall down is, I think primarily it's going to be around the interior, and there's still a lack of depth around the fine points, like, you know, a little bit on the headlamps and the grille especially. So I'm just baselining this off a model of a similar era, which was the M3 Sport Evo that we reviewed previously. I gave that a 8.5 out of 10. So for this, it's similar vein, not quite as great in some of the details, so I'm going to be marking the 2002 as an 8.
Really? Okay, I'm not too surprised. I'm not too surprised.
I'm a bit surprised that you're 9 though.
Well, so because of the points I explained earlier, like where the Sport Evo fell short, this one got more brownie points, and then they kind
How
of.
can I be surprised? The 2002, this is your favorite model.
I'm not biased though. I'm not biased. I really think it looks like a 1-1 car from certain angles. If you did a zoom in shot of the wheels, I think you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Probably just to wrap up this review, one thing to remember, if you were to try and find a Autoart 2002 Turbo on eBay today,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
400 to 500 US bucks, I think, at the very least.
Thank goodness I bought 2.
Time to sell one. Well, that's it. That concludes our review. We hope you've enjoyed it. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't, if you've enjoyed our content and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, please do.
And until next time, it's been Hands on Diecast.
Bye bye.